And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Always a busy day when you got three shows on schedule today, as we do. And of course, coming up here in a few minutes, she's in the finals of The Voice coming up next week. Jackie Rohr is going to join us here to talk about being coached by the great Reba McEntire here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com and out there at KKTC 99.9 at True Country in Taos, New Mexico, and also HighTideCountry.net. Pleased to welcome in one of my favorite artists of all time. He's got a new single out there called That Spirit of Christmas. Love the song. We played it the other day on KKTC. James Otto to the program. James, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. It's almost Christmas time. It's almost about a week or a week and a half away. Almost done with the shopping. So that's
well, look good. You're like last minute. You're on top of it, man. If you're almost done, you're doing good.
Yeah, we had a Secret Santa thing this year, so we're drawing one family member out of the hat, and I'm like, I just got to buy for one person, and of course the kids. But you don't have to buy for like multiple adults. But the Secret Santa is safe. Actually, I went to Bass Pro Shop, and man, one of my favorite stores to walk into.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you buy for Secret Santa to give yourself an excuse to go to Bass Pro Shops, I love that.
I love it. It's good stuff right there too. Hey, let's talk about this great song. You guys released it just a couple of weeks ago there, November 29th, and it was just kind of cool to shed a little bit of that light on the holidays and a little bit of cheer. Everybody kind of needs a little bit of something to think about because, I don't even watch the news anymore, but when I can pick it up and stream something like this Christmas song, That Spirit of Christmas, I feel like you guys had the idea of kind of what you wanted to do on this project. I think you nailed it vocally, instrumentation wise, and it's such a great song for the holidays.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs from the holidays, and it's not overdone. It was in my absolute favorite Christmas movie of all time, Christmas Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a scene where Chevy Chase is locked up in the attic, and he's trying to cover himself up because he's freezing, and he starts watching the video, crying, watching memories of Christmas past. And it's a Ray Charles. It's a Ray Charles classic, and I love the song so much. And I'm a huge Ray Charles fan. So when it came time, like we started talking about Christmas songs this year, I was like, man, let's do That Spirit of Christmas. It's not overdone. It's one of those Christmas songs that kind of is under the radar a little bit, and I love it. I love it to death. It's great.
No doubt, too. Hey, you've been around this thing for a long time, this thing called music, and, I always look back and you see these award shows that are out there right now with the CMAs and, of course, the ACMs each year. Can't recall that at a time, maybe since that 90s country or you guys were coming in there around that mid-2000s or a little bit 05, 06, 07. It's pretty strong right now with the talent. I think the industry is very healthy right now. Would you agree?
Man, I think it's super healthy. I think that there's a good wide breadth of great country music out there. You have the pop country stuff and the bro country thing that kind of has come and gone, but you also have all of this amazing independent and alt country music that's going on that I think is, it's like when Kurt Cobain came along and blew hair metal out of the water, right? Like, and left the radio. It kind of felt like that kind of moment. It was like a breath of fresh air of all these new guys coming in with something to say, something, a unique sound, a little bit more raw, a little bit more real. And I really appreciate that. I love that kind of music.
Always attribute the songwriters in Nashville because I feel like sometimes the people don't talk about them a lot, but I love talking about them because there's so many great things that are going on with the songs that are being put out right now. And it shows a lot, James, about collaboration in the industry and how important it's becoming now. You see it more and more with these co-writes, and of course, artists still pen their own stuff, but it's great to put two or three heads together to come out with just one hell of a song or a hit, or at least somebody hopes it's going to be the next hit. Talk about just how important collaboration is within the industry, and we're seeing more of it today.
I love having co-writers. First off, I think I probably have a touch of ADHD, so having else in the room with me to sit and talk and keep me focused on the task at hand is always helpful. And the old saying, two heads is better than one, is absolutely true. You get into a room with somebody that you vibe with and you talk about things. Co-writing is really what I would consider almost a form of therapy. It's an opportunity for you to sit and talk about the things that are going on in your life, what's happening in your own head, the thoughts that you've had about the music business. We do a lot of like a 30, 40 minutes of just talking when you first get there. And usually what I find is the song idea comes out of that 30 or 40 minutes of talking. It's that opportunity to like catch up and hear about what's going on. And somebody's going to say something that sparks an idea. And then a song, literally, they come out of that. They come out of that conversation. And I think it's so helpful to not just have to sit in a room by yourself and write songs. I've written plenty of songs by myself, and I love those songs. In fact, I got a new one on this upcoming record that I'm putting out called "Self-Made Fool." I wrote a song on there that, all by myself. It's a great song. I love it. But like as a job, when your job is to write songs, and my job has been to write songs for the last 25 years. So I like having the opportunity to sit with my friends and talk about things. And I really feel like you get more and better ideas that way.
You know, a lot of people say too that they don't get into this for awards, but you know, you've been acknowledged through the peers and the industry too. You know, two-time Grammy nominee, and of course the ACM and CMA's award-winning singer-songwriter. When you get that kind of feedback in the industry too, as well, it's almost like a validation. But you've been doing this for a long time too. We're going to talk a lot about the first album too, Sunset Man, today too, and recap that. But getting that validation again from the peers and of course the publications, the media, things like that, still has to feel good.
It feels good. Certainly it feels good to be validated, and you know, for your peers to think highly of you. That means a lot to me, to be thought of well about my peers. And you know, I think longevity was really always what the deal had to be for me. I also, you know, I kind of took myself off the road as much as I was on the road. When I left Warner Brothers, it was a conscious decision to take some time off because I had a new baby. And my daughter was like, the other day, she was like, "Dad, it's been like 13 years since you released a full album. What happened?" And I was like, I wonder what happened 13 years ago. But I knew that I needed to be dad. I needed to be a better father, and I needed to be home. I'm still on the road, and I've been on the road all these years, but I haven't like really gone after it. Now I've got a brand new album out, coming out at the first of the year, and it's really, you know, been a. When we talked earlier, we were talking about being in a pandemic and having time to sit and think and to like figure out what you wanted to do. And this album was really written during the pandemic, and it was a new direction. It's really kind of going along that country soul line that I've always done, but we kind of just leaned a little bit hard on the soul side of it.
You know, back to the time flies, at least for me, because I look back at 2008 when Sunset Man came out, and there was this little song that you might know about called "Just Got Started Loving You," kind of hit country radio, and this became pretty viral. At least for me back in the day, they're like, "Are you spinning that record?" I'm like, "Come on, man, this is one of the best country songs of all time." Yeah, we're playing that record. Give me some of the highlights and what you remember best about that record, and then when you guys stepped in the studio with that particular song, did you kind of feel like you had something special?
You know, we did, and we cut a lot of songs for that record. I think we cut like 25 songs, and it was weird because it was a period of, I had just signed on at the label. We cut a bunch of music, and that song sat around on the shelf for about 4 years before we released it. And I was like, man, is this ever going to get released? Is this going to happen? I really feel like it was good, and the label finally got around to like, this is your time. This is your window where we have time to promote this. And when that thing blew up, my life changed like overnight. I was gone 300 days out of the 365-day year. I played like over 200 shows that year. And so it was crazy. I mean, it was like a rocket ship ride, and it just absolutely blew up. And I was so thrilled to go through all that, and also exhausted in the but man, you know what I found out about that song ever since, it was the most played song of that year, the year it came out. But what they've told me now is it's like top 100 most played songs of all time in the history of country music radio. It absolutely was my mind.
When it's a good one, it's a good one. People know good music, no doubt about it too. There was also one for the album before I take a quick time out called "These Are the Good Old Days," and boy, it brought me back to when I was like, yeah, I wasn't in my 40s now, had a kid and things like that. You're growing up, you're in college, you're kind of getting a feel of the way what life is all about too. And that song really takes me back to when I was a kid.
Yeah, for me, that song was about living in the moment, right? I think everybody, you can go, my best time was this, or my best time is going to be in the future. And for somebody that like myself, I need that positive daily affirmation that life's pretty good. If you look around, you know, you stop and take a look at what you got going on in your life. You may be busy and things might be crazy, but life is right now, and these right here are the good old days.
Yeah, no doubt about it too. That's just again some of my favorite songs to listen to off of Sunset Man. We'll come back, talk about a couple more of those, and to get into, like I said, some of those projections more toward 2024. Again, with James Otto here on the Backstage Pass, again powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com and out there at KKTC 99.9 True Country in Taos, New Mexico, and of course our friends at HighTideCountry.net. Presented by Bangtail Whiskey. Coming right back. Another segment coming up. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show, of course, 1 week to go. We'll take a break for the Christmas holidays coming up, too. About 2 weeks off. Ray Scott, Ashley Ray, hit songwriter Skip Ewing coming up next week, and a whole lot more here on the Backstage Pass. Again, thanks to our friends at KKTC 99.9 True Country. You can hear us at 10 Mountain Time weeknights there via the LMNOC broadcast app, which comes in very clear out there, too, no matter where you are driving to. And, of course, our friends at Honky Tonk Texas and Bangtail Whiskey. And if you want to check us out at High Tide Country, .net streaming up in Oklahoma City. Back here with James Otto on the show. That Spirit of Christmas is the new Christmas tune across all the digital platforms. You know, I look forward so much to this and holiday music because I know artists just love the time of year. I mean, the Christmas side. You actually did a version. I love this because it's more of that religious side too. And this song gets sung a lot just out there on every music show or every live show I've gone to. But I thought your spin on it was really good. Go Tell It on the Mountain. How much fun was it to really, put your vocals to that and sing just a legendary song?
I love that song. I've always loved that song. And it was actually my brother-in-law, Jay DeMarcus, who's in Rascal Flats, produced that. It was for a Kix Brooks movie that they were doing. It was a Christmas movie that Kix Brooks was producing and was part of. And they asked me to do a song for it, and Jay produced it. And, we went for that soulful take on it. We went for like the gospel take on it. It was, it's such a blast to do.
Y'all had a lot of fun with that. And of course, one that really goes back to me was just a great quick 3-song EP, kind of a singly release, Days of Our Lives. And I love that one too at the same time because you had 3 great songs on there too at the same time. Just a beautiful rendition of it. The cover of that single art was so professionally done too. Give me some memories about that project.
Man, that was on Mercury Records back in the day, and actually had a full album for Days of Our Lives. He had a full record for that. And that was my first intro to the music business. I was on Mercury for, I think about 4 or 5 years, and I was on there with David Nail and Steve Azar and Shania Twain, which was pretty wild. And I went on tour with Shania Twain for her Up tour in support of my album Sunset Man, or not Sunset Man, but Days of Our Lives. And that song itself, it was just it was written as a reminder of things can change the blink of an eye, right? It's one of the things like, you can pull out in front of the wrong car and everything changes. And it's about not taking life for granted.
Yeah, another great song there too. When you look back at the Sunset Man, the title track too, I think you guys accomplished all you wanted to when it came to that particular song. Walk us through that little backstory of Sunset Man itself.
Sunset Man, the album or the song?
The song itself too. Well, the album is really great. We're touching on a few songs there, but Sunset Man, the song, is one of my favorites on my playlist too.
Yeah, I wrote that song with John Rich and my buddy Shane Austin, and I can't remember where the title came from, but we were riding on John's bus. This is back in the Music Mafia days, and we were riding John's bus and swapping songs. And I think that song was written in about a 2-hour time period. And I just fell in love with the song. It was like something that I'd never heard before, had heard anybody else do. And I am a sunset man myself. I early mornings aren't my thing. I like to be out there when the sun goes down.
Yeah, you're the same right now. Of course, I don't like to get dark at the 5:30 Texas time
No,
too, because
no, we go back. We need to get rid of this whole daylight savings thing.
yeah, several states have outlawed it too. We need to get rid of it too here, especially in Texas, no doubt too. Hey, walk me through this because the timeline of everything. But I talked to a lot of artists here on the program, and a lot of the fans might see the glamour, the glitz, and come out to the shows and watch it, and of course, but what they may not see is what goes on behind the scenes. Walk me through the challenges of this thing called show business or the music industry.
Oh man, I fell for that too. Everybody's like, music is glamorous. Look at all this stuff. It'll be a rock star and fast cars, and lots of money, and award shows and all kinds of stuff. And man, my experience hasn't been anything like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's work, man. It's a job. It's a great job. You're doing what you love, without a doubt. I'm so thankful to be able to make my living with my guitar in my hand. That's been my dream my whole life. But I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but it's hard work, man. It's hard work, and it's a lot of sacrifice to be able to do this thing that we all love. And I think the reward is you get to touch a lot of people. You know what I mean? I've been blessed to have written, like, I wrote In Color with my buddy Jamie Johnson. And like that song, I have people come up to me with tears in their eyes at the end of these shows, talking about what that song means to them, and talk about the memories and the people in their lives, and all the stuff that this song brings up to them. It's really a powerful thing. I think that the being able to express yourself and see that those emotions that you have, everybody else has as well, I think is a powerful thing, and it just kind of draws people closer. It's a good thing.
On that same token too, like I said, all these are the great award shows that are going on right now too, and we talked about kind of the health of the music industry too, and it made me think back. You're such a great songwriter. When you sit down and like you said, In Color, and you look at all the great songs that are put out today, what kind of makes you tick when it comes to songwriting? What do you enjoy most about the process? Is it kind of therapy for you?
It is therapy for sure. Some songs are therapy, and some songs are just fun. You know what I mean? Some songs are just written to be a good time, and I love those songs too, because music should be a release. It should be. Everybody works hard, and everybody goes through all kinds of stuff. I like music as a way to forget about some of the hard things that are going on in the world, right? And so you give the people the opportunity to forget about their troubles. And I like writing songs like that too. I like. I've written literally thousands of songs. So when you write that many songs and you treat it like a job, like I have done for so many years, you need all kinds of things to write about. And you also need to take time off. I think one of the best things that you can do for yourself as a songwriter is to live life, because live life, you refill that well that you're drawing from every day, right? You get to refill it and put new experiences in there, and new songs come out of that. I like even watching things or hearing things and talking to people. That's how songs get written. I wrote a song the other day with Adam Hood called "Don't Quit Your Daydreams," and it's about having the opportunity to be still long enough and to not quit dreaming, really, is what the song is about. I had heard that, I think it was, I can't even remember where I heard that title. I heard somewhere, and it just struck me. It was like, man, that is great advice. That is one of those things that I was able to do. I've been able to live my daydreams. I've always been a guy that was able to stare out the window when I was in class, thinking about something else other than what I'm supposed to be thinking about. And those things that I was thinking about ended up being my life. It ended up being this right here. And so, songs can come from anywhere.
Really can, no doubt too. And this one, I'm sure, had a good story behind it. Back to that album, Sunset Man, too, because I loved it so much. You Don't Act Like My Woman.
Yeah.
Love that one. You Don't Act Like My Woman, which is off the album Sunset Man. Walk us through that one too, because that's a great title for a song.
Yeah, I wrote that with my brother-in-law Jay DeMarcus, and Man, I think we've all been through relationship troubles, right? I mean, everybody, if you've been on long enough, there's going to be problems sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those songs that deals with that. It's going through a rough patch, and wanting to find that thing that you fell in love with about the person. You know what I mean? And be able to get to that place, and saying that to that person. And sometimes that's what it takes, is to dig in and figure out your problems and tell them what's on your mind. And that's exactly what that song's about.
You've been able to grace a lot of stages over your career. Give me some of those highlights, or maybe the ones that you kind of hit on the bucket list. And is there still some that you may not have graced that you're like, you know what, I look forward to maybe stepping back on that stage either again or for the first time?
Man, I played so many. I played tiny dive bars all the way up to Madison Square Garden. And I'm really, there are a couple that I still would like to do that I haven't done. I'd say Red Rocks is one of those that I always wanted to play and have never had the opportunity to. And the Gorge Amphitheater out in Washington State, which is where I'm from. I want to play there, and I've never had the chance to do that as well. They're just both gorgeous outdoor amphitheaters and amazing places to play.
I love it too. And everybody says Red Rocks, and boy, it's tough to get in there, but once you do, it's just a great festive event out there too, and a great stage to really step onto as well. We'll take a quick timeout, last one, come back with rapid fire with James Otto, asking about Christmas traditions, and of course a little bit more for 2024. And sometimes it's not so rapid. It does take a little bit of thought out there too, but we like to call it rapid fire here on the Backstage Pass, again powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com out there at KKTC True Country 99.9 and our friends at hightidecountry.net. Coming right back. Last segment coming up. Stay tuned.
The bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here with James Otto on the show. Of course, next week, Ashley Ray Scott, and Skip Ewing will finish out the year. Maybe one or two more. We'll see how things go. And, of course, getting ready for 2024. Just a few weeks out here back on the Backstage Pass. Thanks to our friends at hightidecountry.net and KKTC. True Country, Taos, New Mexico, which you got to love Ski Town this time of year because they're getting a lot of snow out there, too, and up into the southern part of Colorado. Again, that spirit of Christmas across all the digital platforms. And check out JamesAuto.com for tour dates and many more announcements leading into 2024. James, we talked a little bit about the Days of Our Lives album. There was a couple more I wanted to touch off of there too, which was fantastic. One called The Ball. I'm interested to hear the backstory of that one.
Yeah. So that was like my first single, and that was off of my first record on Mercury Records. That song I wrote with my buddy Jason Matthews, and it follows it's basically a story about missing a big opportunity, right? That moment in your life that you're supposed to reach up and grab that brass ring, and somehow you just miss it. And you find that life ends up being okay anyways. You may not have grabbed the big brass ring that you thought you were going to be, but God hands you something better than what you thought that you were going to get. That's what that song's about. And that one of the things I've always loved about country music is that it has traditionally tackled those kind of subjects. It's always had morals and strength and character were always things that that were part of the country music that I loved. And that song is one of those things.
Off that same record too, another great message spread out there too was one called Never Say Goodbye. And I'm sure that has to be one of your favorites too.
Yeah, that's a soulful number. That's one of those songs that because more along the soulful and southern rock vibe. It's about not wanting to lose the person that you love. It's about things kind of falling apart and begging someone not to leave. There's just moments where you feel weak and aren't able to let go of somebody, and that was one of those songs.
I love it too. And then I love this one because we always talk about sometimes how great songs come from everywhere too, but you get something like a Sunday morning, Saturday night. It's kind of
Yeah,
what it feels like the day before. It's supposed to feel like that too, but I can resonate with that title.
yeah, man. The song was written by Jeffrey Steele. It was I love that song. It was so much fun to play. I haven't played that song in forever, but yeah, it's about that dichotomy of living the high life on Saturday night and then ended up in the church pew on Sunday. I think we're all a little bit of both of those things, right? A little bit of the devil on your shoulder and a little bit of the angel on the other shoulder, and that song is it's just fun.
I love it too. All right, time for a little rapid fire. Love doing this, and would love to have you back to talk about the new album coming up in 2024 when it drops too as well. If James Otto was not a musician, what other career path would he have followed?
Phew, man, I got no other skills, so that's tough. What would I do? I probably would be doing something with cars. I'm a big car guy,
Hmm.
hot rod guy. I'd probably be building cars.
All right, I like that too. All right, favorite sports teams: NFL, college, Major League Baseball. Who do you root for?
My favorite football team has been I was a little kid is the Vikings.
Hmm.
I My family originates in North Dakota, and so when you're from North Dakota, there's not a whole lot of things that you can root for as far as professional sports are concerned. And we were all a bunch of Norwegians, so it was Vikings for me.
There you go. Like I said, outside shot to make the playoffs. It still hurts the injury to Kirk Cousins too at the same
Uh,
time. But to run the football and look, this got him. I'm a Cardinal fan, as you can tell. My years 3-10 is not very good, but Josh Dobbs came over there, played a few good ball games here and there, and now he's getting his feet wet too. And I think there's still that outside shot that make the playoffs.
you never know, man. We were a wild card.
No doubt. All right, favorite food around the holidays or Christmas traditions?
Okay, I'm going to give you both of those things in one. Okay, as a Norwegian, there's some strange foods that other people probably have never heard of, and one of those things is my favorite thing to have at the holidays is a thing called kumla, and it basically is a potato dumpling ball, and it's boiled with like it would be shredded potatoes balled up, and then it would be boiled with like a ham hock and you a lot of butter and salt and pepper, and it's amazing.
I'd love to try that one day too, or make that. No doubt. Till you say Norwegian, that kind of just struck my interest right there to try that too. Favorite shows to kind of binge watch. What do you get into?
Oh man, so much. I haven't been able to watch it lately, but we love Yellowstone. That's one of the
Hmm.
shows that my wife and I watch, and all the spin-offs of that show we've been watching. I'm a big sci-fi guy, so I've been watching The Foundation, which is incredible. There's a lot of good TV out there these days, man. It's hard to dig through and be able to watch all of it because with all of the different streaming services, it's like trying to keep up with all of your shows. Wow.
Yeah, there weren't many choices about 15, 20 years ago when it was just like
No,
you have cable or you don't. It was like, what do you have? Well, DirecTV or Dish, or I've got the what is it, Time Warner Spectrum, whatever. And everybody else is like, hey, now I've got Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus, and there's so many plus.
infinite choices. We were in the golden age of television.
It sure is, and all these apps sure know what they're doing now when it comes to listing or streaming something on an app. And I'll tell you this, man, I've gotten into the YouTube TV lately. There's some
Oh yeah.
good on there with some channels I'd never heard of.
Well,
So
you could anything on YouTube, right? I mean, you can go down the rabbit hole crazy with YouTube, and I love YouTube as well. It's one of those things that you can lose a lot of hours really quickly that way.
a buddy calls me at least two, 3 times a week. So, what are you doing? I'm just searching YouTube, just killing time, no doubt about it too. I'm like, you're a mechanic, you got time to kill? Yeah, well, you're not backed up in the garage. You can go inside and watch a little bit of the YouTube there too. All right, first song ever to sing live on stage, and it could be a cover. What was it?
But it definitely was a cover. I try to think the first song I ever sang on stage. That's a good question.
Hmm.
It was probably something at church. I bet it was. I bet it was. Oh man, I don't even know. It had to have been like or something like that.
Okay, I like that too. It takes a little some time, takes a little thought when it comes to something like that. All right, if you're like me, look, I'm gonna showcase it. Big dude, love to eat. It comes down to it, but Pizza. It's hard for me to give up pizza. What toppings go on a James Otto pizza?
Whew, man, I mean, I obviously love the traditional pepperoni is always great.
Mm-hmm.
I like as far as like weird pizzas. Domino's got a thing called a chicken bacon ranch pizza that's pretty amazing.
I've got to see. That's the one I've got to try because I love that chicken and ranch.
It's
Put
good. Chicken bacon and ranch. Lots to like about that.
Everything to like about that, brother. No doubt about it, too. Hey, the new album's coming out in 2024. Do y'all have a drop date or kind of around this? Because I'm looking forward to it.
So we're looking at the first of the year to start dropping singles, maybe February, March. But I cut this record down in Muscle Shoals. I fell in love with this album. We went down and basically cut almost. It's essentially a live record. There's almost no overdubs. There's no there's not a bunch of editing done to it. What you hear is what you get, and it's I've got a bunch of special guests on this record. Jamie Johnson and Randy Houser are on a track with me. So it's basically a trio song, which was pretty cool, called Self-Made Fool. It's the title cut of the record. I've got also Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smokes playing guitar on that track. Ooh. I've got, man, I just love the record. I think if you follow me on social media, you're going to kind of hear some of the songs and see what I've been working on and get an idea of what's going on. But it's more of a soulful direction for what I have done. Just kind of started loving you was a good place to start, and we're kind of going off even a little bit more into soul land.
Hey, brother, like I said, love the soul sound too, no doubt about it. And again, appreciate all the contributions you made to country music. 2-time Grammy nominee, and of course, ACM/CMA award-winning singer-songwriter. You heard it right here on the Backstage Pass from James Otto too. Again, that Spirit of Christmas across all the digital platforms. I'd love to have you back too when the new album comes out, my friend. And hey, hope you had a great time, and let's do this again.
Thanks, man. I'd love to.
You got it. James Otto here on the Backstage Pass. Again, thanks to Bangtail Whiskey and our friends at Honky Tonk, Texas. Also, HighTideCountry.net, KKTC 99.9 True Country in Ski Town in Taos, New Mexico. And we're not done today. Voice can hold up. We got another one coming at you, too. Top 5 finalist on The Voice, coached by Reba McEntire, Jackie Rohr, coming here on the program, too, as well. We'll see if she can win the competition coming up next week, too. Off tomorrow and back next week with Ray Scott, Ashley Ray, and hit songwriter Skip Ewing. Until then, have a great night. We'll see you soon.